Lloyd Avery second, The Life and Death. Let's get into it. This will be the last one for tonight. Few knew his name, but many will remember Lloyd Avery for his memorable role in John Singleton's 1991 Oscar-nominated film, Boys in the Hood, as the gang member who leaned out of the window of the bright red 1988 Hyundai Excel, wielding a sawn-off shotgun to blast Morris Chestnut's character, the promising high school football star Ricky Baker, as he ran off of for his life in the gang-infested neighborhood of Crenshaw in Los Angeles. His early life. From a young age, Lloyd Avery II had wanted to be a musician, but a career in film soon became his burning passion. But after starring in Singleton's movie, Avery's career took somewhat of a step backwards, and few knew his private life was becoming eerily similar to that what was on screen of his character that kick-started his acting work. His transition from Hollywood actor to inmate in Pelican Bay State Prison is a tragic journey of a one man reaching the precipice of fame only to bring about his own downfall. What is he doing? Okay, they have a video collection of Lloyd. They have a bunch of videos on Lloyd. Jeez, man. Dang, this is a bigger story than I could even thought. Okay. Jeez, who wrote? When did they write? Let me see. When did this guy write this story? If it's Nucleus again, that means Nucleus might. Yeah, it's Nucleus again. In 2020 was the story was written. Okay. This is insane. Absolutely insane. All right. Lloyd Avery. So known as Lloyd Fernandez Avery, was born June 21st, 1969, and grew up to be a working-class neighborhood next to Baldwin Hills, known as Black Beverly Hills in L.A., along with his brother, Shay, his father, Lloyd Sr., and mother, Linda. The Averys were a quiet, middle-class family. Their father was a man of many skills, a qualified plumber, electrician, and expert carpenter who operated his own business, while his wife was a stay-at-home mom until the late 1980s when she started working in baking. Avery had a comfortable childhood, and Shay would later say, "We were silver spoon kids. We never needed for nothing." Unlike some of their friends, the family of six had a pool in their backyard at View Park. Raised in a Christian household, their parents instilled in the boys and their sister the value of good education, and they were enrolled into school integration programs, with Lloyd attending Beverly Hills High School. There, he excelled in baseball and water polo. Didn't even know water polo was even a thing back then. Often seen driving his brown Pinto, doing donuts near a swim gym, Avery was considered the class clown, usually telling jokes to his classmates. Despite his shy nature sometimes, he was known as a fun person to be around. And although he didn't date much, the girls in his lectures were enamored with his pretty boy looks and long eyelashes. Some of his closest friends were the children of some well-known celebrities in the music business, such as musician and songwriters Quincy Jones, Smokey Robinson, and Clarence Avant. Yeah, he did have some big, jeez. Avery and his fellow students would often attend house parties on the weekends, meeting up in mansions while the parents were on vacation. But Avery didn't drink or do drugs. Instead, he liked to play a game called Party and Pouch, in which people would, as actor and friend Dorn Reed refers to it, steal stuff at parties just to steal. But at this point in Avery's life, he was no budding criminal. He was more of an attention seeker, troublemaker with a high-pitched laugh who wasn't interested in gang culture until after 1990. So what type of game just steal stuff? I don't like that game, especially if you're at my house. Yeah, don't steal my parents' stuff. And, Avery had a knack for exposing insecurities, pushing buttons, and developed something of a sarcastic streak, which sometimes provoked a reaction. Sometimes things got violent. Avery's friends Brent Rollins, the art director and graphic designer who created the logo for Boys in the Hood, recalls how one-time comedian Robin Harris attacked Avery at Jet magazine photo shoot minutes before meeting him. "I don't know what Lloyd said to him," says Rollins. "All I remember is that Robin Harris was choking him against a sofa, but his incessant needling was just one of the negative part of his larger personality. He had a mischievous streak and a really sweet streak," Rollins said. Day before Christmas Eve, he would drive around at people's houses, give them Christmas cards. Does that? Avery was also impulsive and reckless, something which led to his first incarceration. During one night in 1988, Avery and several friends, including Dorn Reed, were leaving a UCLA party in Westwood when they were approached by a group of frat brothers. Avery cracked a joke, some words, and exchanged between groups. Soon a fight broke out. Then, just as a patrol car appeared down the street, 3 gunshots rang out. Although Avery wasn't the one who fired the weapon, he was carrying a fake ID. As a result, spent 3 days in jail. His friends grew concerned afterward, not because of the circumstances of what happened, but because of Avery's reaction to it. What scared me was that Lloyd was laughing about it, says Avery's friend Keith Davis. He told me that he really liked jail. It's like, how the hell do you get locked up and say you enjoy it? He was so flippant. After dropping out of Los Angeles Trade Technical College, Avery worked alongside his father, but didn't want to follow his footsteps, despite developing a gift as a handyman. Too wordy. Avery had a passion for music, but his father disapproved. So much so that he once took a baseball bat with son's SP 1200. Jeez, come on, Dad. Come on, chill out. He wasn't all that happy with the choices Lloyd had made, his mother, Linda Avery, says. What his father wanted for Lloyd wasn't for Lloyd. It seemed Lloyd Avery, II, had learned a valuable lesson from the incident, but not the one his father had intended. In June 1990, he was arrested for stealing studio equipment from the Guitar Center. It was around that time that Avery would get his big break, albeit unexpected. A friend, John Singleton, was making his first feature film. As Avery would later explain during his murder trial, "Oh, right. I met the right person at the right time and they put me in a movie." An Inglewood native, Singleton had excelled in the filmic writing program at USC and was a 2-time winner of the Jack Nicholson Screenwriting Award. All right, so Lloyd had aspirations to make movies, and with undeniable raw talent, he had a drive to succeed. Shortly after graduation, this can't be Lloyd, this has to be Singleton. All right, let's read it as Singleton. He had aspirations to make movies, and with his undeniable raw talent, he had the drive to succeed. Shortly after graduation, Columbia Pictures agreed to film Singleton's script for Boys in the Hood, with him as the director. Okay, that's a big break, to be honest with you. The cast was made up of like Avery and mostly locals, which Singleton intended to keep a sense of realism to his project, which depicted gang culture and the lives of 3 young African Americans growing up in South Central Los Angeles. The film followed the friendship of Cuba Gooding Jr.'s character Trey Styles and Baker's brother, played by Ice Cube, and Morris Chestnut. Baker's brother, yeah. In one of the film's most memorable scenes, Chestnut's Ricky Baker, a promising football star, and Gooding's character go to the local store to pick up groceries. There, they spot a group of blood-affiliated gang members led by Ferris, one of which was played by Lloyd Avery II, and the two split up to escape any trouble. Avery was required to be on set to show support, even if he appeared on the day's call sheet or not. His co-stars remember him as friendly and humble, and he apparently took direction from his friend Singleton, who meticulously prepared Avery for his big scene, which so happened to be the most iconic scene of the movie. Yeah, it really was. It was a very iconic scene in the movie. He instructed Avery at every turn how to point the gun, how to generate a simultaneously cold-hearted and menacing stare. No detail was considered too small. But the day's shooting did not get off to an encouraging start. The scene involving Cuba Gooding Jr., whose character was about to witness his best friend's murder, at this stage of his career, he was a method actor and spent all morning in his trailer brooding. Just before shooting, Avery greeted him, and Gooding snapped, "Don't effing talk to me right now." A production assistant stepped in to defuse the situation. Despite this discord on set, the finished scene is one of the most emotional in the film. The resulting masterclass in building tension that culminates in Avery's scene stealing appearance as Knucklehead 2. That shot of him out of the window holding the gun is iconic, says Malcolm Norrington, a college friend of Singleton, who played Knucklehead number 1. John was so happy when he got that shot. The gang members eventually catch up with Chestnut's character, who is tragically murdered. Yeah, that is definitely memorable, very memorable scene in the movie. Avery's gun-toting gangbangers is seen leaning out of the window of Ferris's bright red sports car, shooting Ricky twice with a double-barreled shotgun, killing him instantly. Towards the end of the film, Ice Cube's Darren Doughboy Baker seeks revenge for the death of his brother and enlists Trey to help him. In the moments of redemption, Trey Style heeds the advice of his father and returns home. Baker goes through with his plan and catches up with Ferris and his gang outside the local fast food restaurant. As they attempt to flee, they are cut down and shot by an AK-47. Lloyd Avery's second character is killed outright, whilst his fellow gang members Ferris is executed by Cube's Doughboy. Poignant aftermath of Doughboy states his understanding of why his friends chose to leave before the murders, and explains how he will too face retaliation for his actions. The film represents themes of revenge and gang culture prevalent in LA, and would go on to become a critical commercial success. The film was nominated for Best Director, Best Original Screenplay at the 64th Academy Awards, and was selected in 2002 for the preservation in the National Film Registry. His character, despite only having appeared in several small scenes, made Avery a celebrity around the neighborhoods of Los Angeles of his notorious role as the film member of the Crenshaw Mafia gangsters. The 6'1" Avery was instantly recognizable and found himself ushered past the queues outside of nightclubs. Initially, he enjoyed his newfound fame and intended on fully exploiting it. He hired an agent and went on numerous auditions, and his future in the movie industry seemed unstoppable. With his African American and Mexican descent and handsome looks, it was believed the young Avery would go far, possibly even landing leading roles one day. During this time, his music career began to take off as he produced Push, the lead single on actress Tisha Campbell's debut album, Tisha. His acting career continued, and this time he was cast in Singleton's follow-up, Poetic Justice. Dang, Singleton was going on that. It's jeez. Alongside his Boys in the Hood co-star, Diedrich D. Gobert. The new role of Thug Number 1 would hardly be considered a step up from his previous character, Knucklehead Number 2. Singleton had planned to nurture Avery, who was, after all, an untrained actor. He starred alongside his brother Shay, who played Thug Number 2, as well as Janet Jackson, Regina King, and late Tupac Shakur. They're showing pictures, and now I can see it. Dang, that's crazy. Him and his brother was in it. His cameo, where he was once again murdered an innocent character, is the strongest thread connecting Poetic Justice as the successor to Boys in the Hood. It is quite a different film from Singleton's debut, being both a road trip movie and love story, and is quieter and slower than Boys in the Hood, but also unfocused. The film proved a disappointment with critics and underperformed at the box office. Poetic Justice would be a disappointment to Avery too. Oh dang. I like Poetic Justice. In his brash style, he let Singleton and everyone else at the film's premiere know exactly what he thought of it. At the closing credits rolled, Avery stood up and shouted, "This was whack, John." The incident didn't prove to be the end of Avery's friendship with Singleton, but it was just the latest instance of Lloyd being Lloyd, as the actor's inappropriate outbursts were termed. Yeah, that though, not to the director. Dang, I like Poetic Justice. I remember watching the whole thing. Dang. Around this time, Lloyd Avery was staying with Quincy Jones, the producer and filmmaker known as QD2, who resided in the jungle, where Avery had become a legend because of his role in Boys in the Hood. He probably got a pass for the fact that he killed someone as a blood on the film, says Baldwin C. Sykes, a Compton native who played Monster in Boys. It says he received similar praise because of his character in the film. Up to this day, I have people say, "Monster, you shot the blood. You represented. You should be down with the Hood." And I'm like, I'm not down with the Hood. This was an acting role. Avery thought differently. Considered Knucklehead Number 2 as his claim to fame, a role that defined him, it would be a moment he would relive off screen. This ain't good. Not long after the release of Boys in the Hood, Lloyd Avery shocked those closest to him by moving away from his middle-class neighborhood and relocating to an area known as the Jungle. This is dumb. The heavily blood-affiliated neighborhood of Crenshaw Boulevard, Coliseum Street, Santo Thomas Drive, and La Brea Avenue. Lloyd seemed to embrace the culture of his new home. Malcolm Norrington, who played Knucklehead Number 1 alongside Avery's Knucklehead Number 2 in Boys in the Hood, recalled his co-star during the film. He was kind of meek. He was not anything near a street guy, Norrington said, Within a year of Boys in the Hood, I was hearing about him missing auditions. I don't remember when I heard about him joining a gang. I just remember being perplexed. To me, it was like, what is he doing? Blooding Lloyd? Man, that is crazy. He literally, it sounds like he took this role to real life. His friend Keith Davis remembers the first time Avery revealed his blood affiliation. We were shopping at Slauson Swap Meet, he says. Some rolling 60s came up and were like, "You're the guy from Boys in the Hood." "Yeah, that was me." "You shot Ricky, right?" "Yeah, that was me." "Yeah, hey, cuz, you really a blood?" "Yeah." "What's up, blood?" I was looking at him like, "What?" And Lloyd just kind of laughed. They asked him if he was a blood, and it clicked. Yeah, I'm a blood now. What? That's not how that goes. That's definitely not how that goes. Okay. Avery's association with the blood gang, made little sense considering he grew up near Crip territory. Similarly, he knew the dangers of gangbanging. After the streets had already claimed the life of his younger brother. Oh, okay. This is real life. Okay. He said the streets had already claimed the life of his younger brother. The elder brother, too, was soon to take the wrong path in life. But on the opposite side of his brother would choose. Shay Avery was admitted into UC Berkeley and UCLA after gaining a 3.6 GPA at Beverly Hills High, but decided he wouldn't attend either school. As he stated in 1992 Los Angeles Times article, he just felt some kind of attraction to the streets. What? Okay. Unlike his younger brother, Shay didn't hang with the rich kids at BHHS. Is that Beverly Hills? Yeah, Beverly Hills High. Though he claims to have partied with the Menendez brother on prom night. Oh, all right. Well, we'll see how that went for the Menendez brothers. He dressed in as Eazy-E cosplay, and although he wasn't gangbanging yet, he felt there was a certain image he had to live up to. It's crazy. These are two kids that are in the middle class, and they feel like they had to do all this. It says gang affiliation among R&B stars is something that was and still is prevalent. However, very few actors have become embroiled in the gang warfare of the streets. In November of 1994, Avery's Boys in the Hood and Poetic Justice co-star Diedrich D. Gobert became involved in a gang-related fight, during which he was shot dead along with a friend after attending an illegal street race. The actor was killed days before his 23rd birthday. Jeez. He formed his own crew, the GGFs, which stood for Don't Give a F. And each night, these young hoodlums went out looking for trouble, like how the writer puts hoodlums. That's funny. Young hoodlums. Wow, sounds old. Hoodlums went out looking for trouble after getting wasted. Eventually, Shay became feared. Shay once came to a party with Lloyd and I, Dorn Reed recalls. The whole other gang is there. All of a sudden, Shay starts throwing rocks at them. The other gang was like, "What the F is going on?" One of them recognizes Shay. It was like, "Shay, oh, let it go." The whole gang was there, and they didn't F with Shay. That was a little insight into how crazy Shay was. Shay soon graduated from the DGFs into the Rolling 60s, notorious Crip set on the other side of Slauson. He was expected to put in work, a broad term that even today Shay struggles to explain. If you wanted to establish yourself as someone in your hood to be reckoned with, if you wanted to earn your stripes, or even give your neighborhood a name. If you from a neighborhood and you already have a reputation of being troublemakers or being the toughest, then you not only defend your neighborhood, but let's go over here to such and such neighborhood and put in work without saying too much. Put in work, terrorize them, whatever comes with that. Jeez. Eventually, putting in work is the price a gangster pays to be accepted. Gaining the value of brotherhood that comes with it all, which is the primary appeal of gangs. Putting in work can often result in retaliation, as Shay learned. He had lost 2 close friends to gang violence during the summer of 1990. Afterward, he was consumed with rage and started carrying a .22 caliber revolver, which made him feel untouchable. Revolver did? Not an AK? All right. Well, I guess you can't hide an AK. He had committed a series of armed robberies and breaking and entering with his fellow Crips, who referred to him as BK, Blood Killer. Considering how dangerous the lifestyle is, some 30 years later, Shay says he feels lucky to be alive. All the stupid nights just doing stupid stuff every effing night. He says from his Augusta home. Oh, he lives in Augusta, Georgia? Wow. Just senseless, brother. Despite the wild years of his early adulthood, Shay had the common sense to know that he was a dead man walking unless he renounced gang life. He did so before pleading guilty to 9 felony charges of armed robbery.